Why is Aries always in a rush? Why do Scorpios feel so intense? And what secret monster links one zodiac sign to Hercules himself? Forget the cliches. This video breaks down the real strength and weaknesses of every sign, plus the mythological origin stories that explain why they act the way they do. I'm Alina. Let's dive in. Before we jump into the signs, let's clear up what a zodiac sign actually is. When people ask, what's your sign? They are talking about your sun sign, the position of the sun in the zodiac at the moment you were born. The sun moves through all 12 signs in a year, spending about a month in each. So wherever it landed on your birthday becomes your sign. Think of it like this. Your sun sign is the baseline personality filter you move through the world with. It colors your core identity, your drive, your vitality, your sense of self. If your life was a movie, your sun sign would be the main character role you are playing. Now here's where it gets fun. Astrology doesn't stop at the sun. You also have a moon sign, aka your emotional world, and a rising sign, aka the mask, or first impression you give to others. Those add layers of complexity that explain why two people with the same sun sign can be so different. For this video though, we are focusing on the sun, the foundation. Once you know this, the rest of the chart starts to make a lot more sense. Now let's talk about where they even come from, because the zodiac isn't just some random symbols someone made up. It's rooted in ancient mythology, going all the way back to Babylonians, and later woven into Greek and Roman stories about gods, heroes, and legendary creatures. Each zodiac sign is basically an archetype, a role that shows up again and again in human storytelling. Some signs are animals, like Aries the ram or Leo the lion. Others are connected to gods and heroes, like Virgo linked to Astrea, the goddess of purity, or Sagittarius linked to Charon, the wise centaur. And a few even come from monsters, like Cancer, the crab Hera, sent to fight Hercules, or Capricorn, the sea god, born from Pan's escape from the giant typhoon. These myths explain why the signs act the way they do, because they are based on timeless stories about courage, jealousy, love, betrayal, and transformation. That's why astrology feels so familiar. It's just human nature told through the language of myth. Alright. With that foundation in mind, let's go sign by sign, starting with Aries, the warrior. Aries begins with the story of the golden ram. In Greek mythology, the ram was sent by the gods to rescue two children, Phrixus and Hela, from being sacrificed. The ram carried them across the sky, bravely charging forward without hesitation. Hela fell along the way, but Phrixus survived, and in gratitude, he sacrificed the ram, whose fleece later became the famous golden fleece that Jason and Argonauts went on to seek. The ram itself was honored by being placed in the heavens as the constellation Aries. That myth tells you everything about Aries: courage, action, and the willingness to leap first into danger if it means saving the day. It's about taking initiative, even if not everything goes perfectly along the way. Aries energy is bold, impulsive, and pioneering. These are the trailblazers of the zodiac, the ones who'd rather start something, anything, than sit around waiting for permission. They carry that first sign of the zodiac energy, charging ahead and setting things in motion. Leadership comes naturally to Aries. They thrive in situations that call for bravery, energy, and decisive action. They are passionate, fearless, and know how to inspire others to move. Of course, all that fire can burn too hot. Aries can be impassioned, reckless, and quick-tempered. They want things done now, which means sometimes they act before thinking things through. Think of Aries as the friend who volunteers you both for skydiving before you've even had coffee. They are already halfway out the door with a parachute on while you're still scrolling your phone. Taurus comes from the myth of Zeus and the bull. According to legend, Zeus transformed himself into a dazzling white bull to seduce and carry off Europa, a Phoenician princess. He lured her in with his beauty and strength, then swept her across the sea to Crete. In the sky, the bull became the constellation Taurus, representing power, stability, and unshakable determination. Another layer comes from the Cretan bull and even the Minotaur, echoing the bull's mix of strength, stubbornness, and primal force. Across myth, the bull is always an image of endurance, fertility, and sometimes untamable desire. Taurus energy is steady, grounded, and sensual. They are the builders of the zodiac, patient, reliable, and motivated by comfort, beauty, and security. Where Aries charges ahead, Taurus slows down and says, let's make this sustainable. Dependability is Taurus's greatest gift. They are loyal friends, hard workers, and creators of stability. They have a natural eye for beauty, food, art, and anything that makes life more pleasurable. When they commit, they stick it out. That same persistence can turn into stubbornness. Taurus hates change, digs in their heels, and can get too attached to material comfort. When pushed too hard, they can also be indulgent or just plain immovable. Picture Taurus as the friend who ignores your calls but shows up with wine, snacks, and a blanket and expects to stay in all night. Gemini comes from the legend of the twins Castor and Pollux, also known as Polydeuces. They were brothers born to the same mother but with different fathers. One mortal, one divine, Zeus. The two were inseparable, fighting side by side in battles and sharing an unbreakable bond. When Castor, the mortal twin, was killed, Pollux begged Zeus to let him share his immortality. Zeus honored this devotion by placing them both in the sky as the constellation Gemini, symbolizing duality, communication, and the eternal connection between opposites. This myth reveals Gemini's essence, part mortal, part divine, always living in two worlds at once, restless, curious, and never satisfied with just one perspective. Gemini energy is quick, witty, and endlessly adaptable. They are the storytellers, communicators, and social butterflies of the zodiac. They thrive on variety, movement, and new ideas, never standing still for too long. Geminis shine with versatility, cleverness, and charm. They can talk to anyone, fit in anywhere, and always know how to make things interesting. Their curiosity makes them excellent learners and sharers of knowledge. All that variety can make them inconsistent, scattered, and sometimes superficial. They might juggle too many things or people at once, leaving others wondering if they are really committed. Think of Gemini as the friend who can write a novel but still won't text you back because they got distracted making 3 TikToks and googling how jetpacks work. So picture this. Hercules is in the middle of one of his legendary battles, this time against the multi-headed Hydra. It's chaos. Heads are growing back faster than he can cut them off. Meanwhile, Hera, who hates Hercules, decides to send in backup. But not a giant monster, not a dragon, no, a little crab. This crab scuttles into the fight, snaps at Hercules' foot, trying its absolute hardest to help. And what happens? Hercules stomps it flat, without even blinking. Brutal, right? But here's the twist. Hera felt pity for the crab's loyalty and placed it in the stars as the constellation Cancer. That's Cancer in a nutshell. Small but mighty, willing to risk everything to protect someone they care about, even if it means getting squashed in the process. Cancer energy is nurturing, sensitive, and deeply intuitive. They are the protectors of the zodiac, guided by emotion and loyalty. They are compassionate, loyal, and have this uncanny ability to sense what others are feeling before a word is spoken. They'll feed you, comfort you, and defend you like family. But that giant heart, it comes with mood swings, cleanliness, and holding grudges. Push Cancer too far and they retreat into their shell or snap back with claws. Think of them as the friend who makes you soup, then gets offended you didn't say thank you loud enough. Let's set the scene. Hercules is out on one of his famous 12 labors, and this time his task is to defeat the Nemean lion. But this wasn't just any lion. Its hide was so tough that no sword, spear, or arrow could pierce it. Totally invincible. So what does Hercules do? He charges straight at it with his bare hands. After an epic wrestling match, he strangles the beast and finally takes it down. Instead of discarding it, he wears the lion's skin as armor, impenetrable, just like the lion itself. Later, Zeus honors the creature by placing it in the sky as the constellation Leo. That's the essence of Leo. Even in death, the lion's legacy roars on. It's not just about strength, it's about being remembered, being larger than life, leaving a mark that lasts forever. Leo energy is radiant, magnetic, and dramatic. They crave the spotlight not just for attention, but because deep down they want to inspire and uplift others. Leos are confident, loyal, and endlessly generous. They bring the sunshine, and people feel brighter around them. When they love hard, and they'll protect their pride with fierce devotion. But all that fire can tip into ego. Leos can be bossy, prideful, or overly dependent on applause. When they don't get recognition, it stings. Think of them as the friend who turns a casual picnic into Coachella. Long ago, during what the Greeks called the Golden Age, the world was peaceful. The gods and humans lived side by side, and life was fair and abundant. Among them was Astraea, the goddess of innocence, purity, and justice. She walked the earth carrying the scales of fairness, helping humanity live in harmony. But as time went on, humans became greedy and corrupt. The Golden Age gave way to chaos and violence. One by one, the gods abandoned the earth, retreating back to Olympus. Astraea, heartbroken by the loss of virtue, was the very last to leave. She looked back one final time, then ascended into the heavens, becoming the constellation Virgo, forever a symbol of purity in a messy world. That's Virgo in essence, a soul that just wants things to be right, who can't stand disorder and longs to bring healing, clarity, and improvement wherever they go. Virgo energy is practical, analytical, and deeply caring. They notice what others overlook and bring order to the chaos. Virgos are reliable, intelligent, and detail-oriented. Virgos are the quiet fixers. You can trust them to polish, refine, and make everything run smoother. But their high standards can tip into perfectionism. They can be overcritical of others and themselves, never feeling like anything is quite good enough. Think of them as the friend who edits your resume while you're crying. Libra is the only zodiac sign that isn't a person or an animal. It's the scales of justice. In mythology, the scales belong to Themis, the goddess of divine law and fairness, often depicted holding them in one hand and a sword in the other. She weighted the souls of humans, measuring right from wrong, balance from chaos. Later, her daughter Astraea, the same goddess connected to Virgo, carried the scales with her before ascending to the heavens. That's why Libra carries the cosmic obsession with fairness, harmony, and making sure everything feels right. They are literally born from the scales that weighed good and evil. Libras are the peacemakers, the charmers, the ones who can walk into a room and immediately smooth over tension. They love beauty, balance, and partnership. Life feels better when they are connected to others. But here's the catch. When you're born from the scales themselves, you're constantly measuring, weighing, deciding, and that can get exhausting. Libras are diplomatic, social, and endlessly fair-minded. Libras know how to see both sides of a story, and they can make anyone feel heard and included. That balance comes at a cost. They can be indecisive, people-pleasing, and sometimes more focused on keeping the peace than speaking their truth. Libra is the friend who spends 30 minutes picking an outfit, but can also mediate your breakup while looking fabulous doing it. Scorpio's story begins with Orion the Hunter. Orion bragged he could kill any beast on earth, and the gods didn't like that kind of arrogance, so they sent a giant scorpion to stop him. The two fought fiercely, and the scorpion's sting brought Orion down. To honor the battle, both Orion and the scorpion were placed in the sky, forever locked in a position. When Orion sets, Scorpio rises. But Scorpio's mythology doesn't end there. Across cultures, The sign is tied to death and resurrection. Ancient stories link it not just to the scorpion, but also the eagle and even the phoenix, symbols of transformation. Kill the scorpion and it becomes the eagle. Burn it down and it rises from the ashes, stronger than ever before. That's Scorpio in a nutshell. Endings, beginnings, and raw power of transformation. Scorpios are intense, magnetic, and deeply private. They have a sixth sense for hidden motives and can see through lies instantly. They are drawn to life's mysteries. Things most people are afraid to touch, Scorpio will dive straight into. Unmatched resilience, emotional depth, and fierce loyalty. Scorpios can transform pain into power, and once they trust you, they'll defend you to the end. Their intensity cuts both ways. They can be jealous, controlling, and obsessive, and if betrayed, their sting is legendary. Scorpio is the friend who deletes your number, blocks you, but still knows exactly what you're doing. Sagittarius is tied to the centaur Chiron, but unlike the wild, drunken, chaotic centaurs you hear about in most myths, Chiron was different. He was wise, gentle, and a teacher of heroes like Achilles and Hercules, half man, half horse. Chiron symbolized the bridge between the civilized and untamed, human reason combined with wild instinct. But here's where it gets Sagittarian. Even though he was immortal, Chiron was accidentally wounded by Hercules with a poisoned arrow. The wound caused unbearable suffering, and instead of clinging to his immortality, Chiron willingly gave it up so another could live. In exchange, Zeus honored him by placing him among the stars as Sagittarius. It's the myth of the wanderer, the teacher, the truth seeker, always striving for higher wisdom, even if it means sacrifice. Sagittarius energy is adventurous, blunt, and endlessly curious. They are the sign most likely to book a flight at 2 a.m. or decide they're moving to another country after one conversation. They crave freedom and truth, and they can't stand feeling boxed in. Sagittarius is optimistic, open-minded, and independent. They are always searching for meaning, and their enthusiasm is infectious. They bring humor and big picture vision wherever they go. That same honesty can become tactlessness. Sagittarius can be reckless, restless, or a commitment shy. They'll chase the next adventure without always thinking about the consequences. Sagittarius is the friend who books a flight before even checking their bank account balance. Capricorn's roots go back to the sea god, a creature with the front half of a god and the tail of a fish. It's connected to the god Pan, who ruled over the wild, music, and nature. Here's the story. When the monstrous giant typhoon rose up to attack the gods, chaos broke out. To escape, the gods each transformed into animals. Pan leaped into the Nile River and tried to disguise himself, half as a god climbing onto land, half as a fish diving into the water. That strange form became the sea god, immortalized as the constellation Capricorn. The myth reflects Capricorn's essence: survival through strategy, climbing out of danger step by step, always finding a way to endure. They are the sign that knows how to keep moving upward, no matter how terrifying the monster. Capricorns are ambitious, disciplined, and practical. They are the mountain climbers of the zodiac, willing to work longer, harder, and smarter than anyone else to reach the top. Capricorn energy is persistence, responsibility, and long-term vision. They thrive on structure, and once they commit, they'll push through obstacles that would stop anyone else. Capricorns can become rigid, cold, or too focused on status and achievement. They sometimes forget to stop and celebrate how far they've already climbed. Capricorn is the friend who already has a 5-year plan for your relationship before the first date is over. Aquarius is tied to Ganymede, a beautiful mortal prince of Troy. According to the myth, Zeus spotted him, was so struck by his beauty, and swept him up to Olympus, sometimes in the form of an eagle, to serve as a cupbearer to the gods. Ganymede's role wasn't just about pouring wine. He symbolized eternal youth, inspiration, and the sharing of divine knowledge. Because of this, Aquarius has always been connected to the water bearer, the figure who pours wisdom, ideas, and innovation down from the heavens to humanity. It's not about water itself, but about what the water represents: renewal, progress, and truth. Aquarians are independent, eccentric, and a little unpredictable. They are the rebels, visionaries, and humanitarians of the zodiac. The ones who see the world not as it is, but as it could be. Aquarius energy is innovative, progressive, and friendly. They thrive on ideas, big picture thinking, and making connections that others miss. They care deeply about humanity and the collective God. That distance from normal life can make them seem detached, rebellious for no reason, or downright stubborn in their ideas. Sometimes they are so focused on the big picture, they forget the people right in front of them. Aquarius is the friend who's plotting how to save the world, but forgot to text their mom back for 3 days. Pisces traces back to the story of Aphrodite and her son Eros, when the monstrous giant typhoon rose up and threatened the gods. Yes, the same beast from Capricorn's story. Mother and son escaped by leaping into the Euphrates River. To survive, they transformed into fish, and to make sure they wouldn't lose one another in the Russian waters, they tied themselves together with a cord. The gods honored this act of devotion and transformation by placing the two fish in the sky as the constellation Pisces. It's a myth of escape, compassion, and divine love, themes that still echo in Pisces today. Pisces energy is dreamy, sensitive, and imaginative. They are the mystics, artists, and empaths of the zodiac, always tuned into something beyond the ordinary. They see the world through layers of symbolism, intuition and emotion, compassion, creativity, and spiritual depth are their strength. Pisces can connect with people on a soul level, offering comfort and inspiration like no one else. All that sensitivity can spill over into escapism, avoidance, or getting lost in fantasy. Pisces may struggle with boundaries or idealize people who don't deserve it. Pisces is the friend who falls in love with the barista because they smiled once, then writes a song about it. Now that we've gone through each sign, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Because the zodiac isn't just 12 random characters. It's a full cast of archetypes grouped by the 4 elements that shape their energy. Fire signs: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. These are your action heroes. Aries charges into battle like the golden ram. Leo roars with the immortality of the Nemean lion. And Sagittarius gallops across the world as the wise centaur. Fire signs are about courage, passion, and motion. They act first, think later. Earth signs: Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. These are the builders and survivors. Taurus stands firm like Zeus's sacred bull. Virgo embodies Astraea's devotion to purity and service. And Capricorn climbs like a sea god who escaped a monster. Earth signs bring stability, practicality, and endurance. They are the ones who make sure all the fiery ideas actually stick around. Air signs: Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. The thinkers, the communicators, the visionaries. Gemini is the immortal and mortal twins, always living in 2 worlds at once. Libra is the scales of Themis, forever weighing the truth and justice. And Aquarius is Ganymede, lifting divine inspiration down to humanity. Air signs live in the realm of ideas. They connect, they analyze, they invent. Water signs: Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. The feelers, the mystics, the transformers. Cancer is the loyal crab who fought for Hera. Scorpio is the avenger whose sting defeated Orion and later rose as the phoenix. And Pisces are the 2 fish tied together, swimming through both love and escape. Water signs carry the emotional depth of myths. They represent devotion, loss, rebirth, and compassion. And that's the beauty of the zodiac. Behind every symbol is an animal, a hero, a god, or a monster. Timeless archetypes that live inside us. Astrology isn't random. It's mythology written into the sky. A mirror of human nature that still resonates thousands of years later. The zodiac is more than personality quizzes or memes. Each sign carries a myth that explains not just how we act, but why. Fire teaches us courage and the power of action. Earth reminds us to build, endure, and stay grounded. Air reveals the force of ideas. fairness and renovation. Water connects us to emotion, intuition, and transformation. Every sign has both gifts and growth ages, and when you see them through myth, you realize they are not quirks, but universal patterns. The zodiac is humanity's oldest storybook, written across the stars, and each of us is living out a chapter of it. When ancient astrologers first mapped the heavens, they noticed something curious. Most of the stars stay fixed in place, but a handful of bright lights wandered across the sky. The Greeks called them planetes, wanderers. These were the planets, and because they moved differently than the rest of the stars, they were believed to hold special power. Over time, astrologers saw that each of these wandering lights carried its own character. Mercury darted quickly across the sky, fast, restless, always changing direction. Venus shone brightest, always close to the sun, beautiful, magnetic, alluring. Mars glowed red, hot, bold, sometimes aggressive. Jupiter was huge and slow, radiating benevolence and wisdom. Saturn was furthest out, cold and heavy, representing limits and discipline. The Sun and Moon, though technically not planets, were also given rulership because they dominate the sky with light. Now, here's the key. The ancients looked at the 12 zodiac signs, Aries through Pisces, and matched them with the planets whose qualities fit best. That's how ruling planets were born. Aries, ruled by Mars. The fiery warrior energy of Aries matched perfectly with Mars, the red planet of action, drive, and conflict. Taurus, ruled by Venus. Taurus, sensual and grounded, was linked with Venus, planet of beauty, pleasure, and fertility. Gemini, ruled by Mercury. Gemini's quick wit and love of communication resonates with Mercury, the messenger of the gods. Cancer, ruled by the moon. Cancer's nurturing emotional nature connected with the ever-changing moon, symbol of cycles and care. Leo, ruled by the sun. Leo's boldness, pride, and radiance were tied to the sun, the eternal source of light and life. Virgo, ruled by Mercury. Like Gemini, Virgo was also given to Mercury, but here Mercury represents precision, analysis, and problem solving. Libra, ruled by Venus. Libra's love of harmony and beauty reflected Venus's softer side, balance, grace, and partnership. Scorpio, ruled by Mars in ancient astrology and by Pluto in modern astrology. Traditionally, Scorpio was ruled by Mars for its intensity and passion. In modern astrology, Pluto was assigned as co-ruler, representing transformation, death, and rebirth. Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter. Sagittarius's adventurous, expansive nature was matched with Jupiter, the planet of wisdom, growth, and luck. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. Capricorn's discipline and ambition tied perfectly to Saturn, planet of structure, limits, and responsibility. Aquarius, ruled by Saturn in ancient astrology and by Uranus in modern astrology. In traditional astrology, Aquarius was Saturn's other sign, representing structure in service of society. In modern astrology, Uranus was added as ruler, symbolizing rebellion, innovation, and sudden change. Pisces, ruled by Jupiter in ancient astrology and by Neptune in modern astrology. Pisces was once Jupiter's second domain, embodying wisdom through spirituality. Later, Neptune was added, representing dreams, intuition, and illusion. The idea of ruling planets helped astrologers explain why each zodiac sign had such distinct qualities. The signs weren't just symbols, they were expressions of planetary energy on Earth. Planets became the actors, and the signs the roles they played. So when you read a chart, knowing the ruling planet of your sign gives you a direct line to the boss of that energy. Aries looks to Mars, Leo looks to the Sun, Pisces to Neptune, and so on. That's how the tradition began thousands of years ago, and why even today we still talk about Venus ruling love, Mercury ruling communications, and Saturn ruling time and responsibility. It's a living story, the dance between the zodiac and the wandering lights of the sky. But here's where astrology gets even juicier. Some signs don't just host a planet. They either roll out a red carpet for it, or make it feel like it just walked into the wrong party. When a planet is in a sign it loves, we call that an exaltation. That's the VIP treatment. The planet shines brighter, like it's getting exactly what it needs. On the other hand, when a planet lands in a sign where it struggles, that's called a detriment. It's like being stranded in enemy territory, awkward, uncomfortable, not sure how to be itself. Let me paint you a few pictures. The sun is exalted in Aries. Imagine the sun, the source of life and energy, meeting Aries, the bold warrior. Together they are unstoppable. Vitality, courage, and leadership on full blast. But put Saturn, the planet of discipline and restraint, in Leo, the proud, showy sign ruled by the sun, and it's a mismatch. Saturn wants rules and structure. Leo wants to shine and play king of the jungle. Awkward. That's a detriment. The moon is exalted in Taurus. The moon craves comfort, rhythm, emotional safety. And Taurus, with its love of stability, says, I've got you. Here's a cozy blanket and a steady beat. Perfect match. But in Scorpio, the moon's sensitivity gets thrown into Scorpio's intensity, obsession, and deep transformation. It's like taking a delicate flower and tossing it into a hurricane. That's detriment. Jupiter, the planet of wisdom and expansion, is exalted in Cancer, where its generosity turns into nurturing, protective growth. And Mars, the warrior, finds exaltation in Capricorn. Here, Capricorn's discipline takes Mars's raw drive and channels it into unstoppable ambition. Think of it as passion plus strategy. The point is, planets don't act the same in every sign. Some places make them stronger, some places test them. And that's why two people can both have, let's say, moon in their chart, but one's moon feels calm and steady in Taurus, while the others feel like an emotional roller coaster in Scorpio. So if rulership is like a planet being at home, exaltation is being treated like royalty, and detriment, that's walking into a house where nobody likes you. Now here's another layer that really helps zodiac pop: modalities. Think of them as the style each sign uses to express itself. There are 3 cardinal signs, the initiators: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. These are the starters, the ones who launch ideas, projects, and even drama. Cardinal signs don't wait around. They make the first move. Whether it's Aries charging into something new, Libra starting the conversation, Cancer building a home base, or Capricorn setting the long-term plan. Fixed signs, the stabilizers: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. These are the anchors. Fixed signs hold the line, stick to it, and keep things steady. That loyalty and persistence makes them powerful, but also stubborn. If a cardinal sign plants the seed, a fixed sign makes sure it grows roots. Mutable signs, the adapters: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. These are the shapeshifters, the flexible ones who adjust to whatever's happening around them. Mutable signs thrive on variety and flow, whether that's Gemini juggling 10 conversations, Virgo troubleshooting the details, Sagittarius exploring new horizons, or Pisces drifting between worlds. Modalities show how the signs move through the world. Cardinals start, fixed signs sustain, and mutables adapt. When you add this to mythology and ruling planets, each sign suddenly feels more three-dimensional. There's another layer to the zodiac that makes the whole system click, and it goes all the way back to one of the oldest ideas in philosophy: yin and yang, light and dark, sun and moon, outward and inward. The universe is built on balance. Astrology carries the same rhythm, and we call it Polarity. Now, don't let the names fool you. When astrologers say positive and negative signs, it's not about good or bad. It's about how the energy moves. Yang signs, fire and air, are the zodiac's extroverts: Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, Aquarius. These are the signs that push outward. They're expressive, social, quick to act. They are the ones talking first, jumping on stage, or launching an idea before anyone else has even finished their morning coffee. Yin signs, Earth and water, are the zodiac's empaths: Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Capricorn, Scorpio, Pisces. Their energy moves inward. They reflect, they absorb, they feel things deeply. Instead of rushing in, they pause, sense what's happening, and respond from intuition. And here's the magic. You can't have one without the other. Yang's bold action would burn out without Yin's reflection. Yin's deep feeling would drown without Yang's spark to move it forward. Together they create the cosmic push and pull, action and rest, expression and absorption, doing and being. One of the clearest ways to see polarity in astrology is through the zodiac wheel itself. Every sign has an opposite, sitting directly across from it, like a mirror. These pairs show us how yin and yang play tug of war, not as enemies, but as complements. Aries charges forward. Me first, let's go. Libra steps back. Wait. How does this affect us? Aries teaches courage, Libra teaches balance. Together they remind us it's not about me or you, it's both. Taurus clings to comfort, possessions, and security. Scorpio dives into transformation, intimacy, and letting go. Taurus teaches stability, Scorpio teaches evolution. Together they show us the dance between holding on and surrendering. Gemini gathers quick facts and spreads them everywhere. Sagittarius searches for truth and the bigger picture. Gemini teaches curiosity, Sagittarius teaches wisdom. Together they show us how details and meaning complete each other. Cancer protects the home and family. Capricorn climbs mountains in the public world. Cancer teaches emotional roots. Capricorn teaches responsibility and achievement. Together, they balance private life with public duty. Leo shines as an individual star, center stage. Aquarius blends into the collective, thinking about humanity as a whole. Leo teaches self-expression. Aquarius teaches community. Together, they show how the one and the many need each other. Virgo analyzes, organizes, and fixes what's broken. Pisces dissolves boundaries and dreams beyond the details. Virgo teaches precision. Pisces teaches surrender. Together they balance practicality with imagination. That's how polarity shows up, not as conflict, but as balance. Every sign carries a piece of wisdom, and its opposite carries the missing half. Put them together and you get wholeness. So when you layer mythology, modalities, ruling planets, and now polarities, you stop seeing the zodiac as just personality traits. You start seeing it as a living system. Signs that not only tell their own stories, but also balance each other, shaping how we all interact. That's when astrology really comes alive. Thank you for watching. Now, if you like this video, make sure to check out this video right here, and I'll see you there. Bye!